After watching my updated how to start practicing magic video, a viewer asked me to explain the subject of planetary hours. Believing this will be a great addition to the channel, in this one I'll do just that, keeping things maximally concise. What are planetary hours? Besides linking the 7 classical planets to the weekly days, the planetary hour system designates daily hours to one of them. Invented by ancient astrologers, the method allocates a specific planetary influence for each day and hour. Inheriting that, magic follows the exact system, especially when working with planets. Planets and days. The day's name suggests the planets associated with it. Monday is Moon's Day, attributed to the Moon. The French Mardi translates into Mars Day or Tuesday. Wednesday is derived from Woden's Day, associated with the Germanic god Woden or Odin, and the French Mercredi or Mercury Day. Thursday, the day of Thor, relates to Jupiter and the French Jeudi or Jupiter's Day. Friday is Freya's Day, which in French is Vendredi or Venus Day. Saturday is Saturn's Day, and Sunday needs no clarification. Duodecimal system. Currently, we use a decimal-based system regarded as base 10. Also called denary or decenary, it employs numbers from 0 to 9 to represent any number. Previously, there was also the so-called base 12 or duodecimal system, in which 12 is 10, indicating 1/12 and 0 units. In the decimal system, this quantity is 12, representing 1/10 and 2 units. Remnants of base 12 include the 12 inches in the foot, the solar months, and apparently the planetary hours. Planetary hours. As mentioned, besides a particular day of the week, magic associates each planet with specific hours, changing based on the day. Following base 12, these start the day with the corresponding planet's hour, but more on that in a moment. After completion, the cycle repeats. The day's 24 hours are divided into a day and a night halves of 12. The most crucial to remember is that regular hours don't match planetary ones 99% of the time, and when they seldom do is on equinoxes, which is twice a year. Calculating planetary hours. This requires knowing the sunrise and sunset in your area. Having that information, you divide the total minutes between those exact hours by 12. This gives you the daylight hours. The night hours are found by dividing the minutes from sunset to sunrise, and this means that the lengths of both hours won't be identical. Example. Say the sun rises at 6 AM and sets at 8 PM. In such a case, you have a 14-hour daylight period, or 840 minutes. Dividing it by 12, you get a 70-minute daytime hour. Therefore, your first hour is between 6 and 7:10 AM, the second between 7:10 and 8:20, etc. Another way is subtracting 70 from 120 to obtain the nighttime hour. In our case, that would be 50 minutes. So the first nighttime hour is between 8 and 8:50 PM, the second between 8:50 and 9:40 PM, etc. Adding planets. Once having the hours, you attribute the planets. The day starts with its ruling planet, and its planetary hours proceed by following what's called the Chaldean order. Referring to the actual astrological motion in space, the Chaldean order corresponds to the most common planetary ordering on the Tree of Life, going top to bottom. That's Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. And then the cycle repeats. The planetary hours up. While learning to calculate the planetary hours is nice, obsessing about it is more of an occultic mentality and not really productive. Instead, I offer a veiling of today's technology and employing apps like planetary hours. Being my personal choice, planetary hours is a web app providing all planetary hours based on your location. Hence, it gives the exact hours for days or even weeks ahead. This is crucial because it pairs the mentioned calculations, letting you invest that time into optimizing other aspects of your magic. One example is formulating maximally clear and impactful charges of intent. Another, engaging more correspondences and ensuring you go through all 4 worlds for the planet. While these are essential, calculating the hours manually isn't, nor does it make up for poor preparation and or inappropriate or vague charge of intent. The most impact. Theoretically, using the planet's hours maximizes the attunement of your space to the planet's influence. Ideally, that's on the planet's day in one or more of its hours. Somewhat less optimal scenarios include utilizing the hours regardless of the day and the day despite the hours. A notion from the Renaissance is that while the day is crucial, the hour is even more so. GIRH. The rituals to use are SRH or GRH, which I personally prefer. There are also Aurum Solis techniques, which I never used and cannot discuss. According to some sources, GRH is so much better than SRH that it can bypass the whole planetary hour system, and based on personal experience, there's some truth to that. The reason I think are the 4 identical hexagrams plus the 5th, which attunes the space to the planet's current place in space without waiting for hours or days. In my humble opinion, this makes the operation maximally present, current, and intentional. On the contrary, some found that adding the day and the hour produces somewhat more readily and rapidly noticeable results. Let me know how it goes for you. Star Walk 2. Previously, astrological maps were mandatory for finding the planet's directions during their planetary hours. Luckily, that is no longer the case with apps like Star Walk 2. The same inputs your location, providing the direction of any planet and/or constellation. It is an actual compass, so you cannot go wrong with it, ensuring you have the right direction when the right time comes. Using planetary hours. Given all this, here's an example of how to use the planetary hours with the operant model. Feel free to tweak things based on the systems and the methods you use. Become aware of the hour and the planet's direction. Then, become ready with all your tools, correspondences, declarations, seals, sigils, and/or objects to charge. Once the hour starts, set the field based on your intent. Then, invoke Godhead with the preferred version of the middle pillar, the 11th-fold seal, or the 3 pillars right. Use a preliminary invocation by choice, like portions from the Bornless ritual. Depending on preference, use a rite like 4 elements SRP, OBW, or some sort of a fusion between them. Declare that in the name of so-and-so, you will invoke so-and-so for such and such purposes, going from Atsilut to Asaya. Give the appropriate number of knocks or bell rings. Perform your hexagram ritual with all the names and/or Hebrew letter. Then conjure the force going through the 4 worlds. Declare your official charge of intent with full force and emotions, again moving from Atsilut to Asaya and engaging as many correspondences as possible. Perform a Kabbalistic cross to seal the energy to your aura, or an LBRP to disconnect it from it. Give a license to depart, and if you plan to meditate, ideally do so before the hour closes. The powers of the planets. Common reasons to use the planetary hours are to maximize the probability of something happening in your life and/or bring specific personality traits and characteristics via GRH, which deserves a separate post. The planet's peculiar characteristics are in 777. Particularly in the magical powers Western mysticism column. The attributions are Golden Dawn based. Each planet has a mystical and magical/practical aspect. The first is linked to the sphere, the water to the pot, and such dual nature lets the operator achieve both mystical and practical aims. Charging objects. Charging objects, i.e. amulets and talismans, is another reason for using the planetary hours. This also follows the moon phases, each lasting approximately 2 weeks. To help with that, use a moon phases tracker. While free ones are everywhere, I suggest and use the moon, calendar and moon phases. Made by Vitaly Gruniak, the app is pretty straightforward and not taxing to my eyes, which is something to appreciate. But that's just my opinion. Feel free to let me know what is yours. Otherwise, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content, consider checking my digital products, music and books. Support me with either of the links in the description and/or the super thanks button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time.